There's a lot of jealousy in boxing, especially when an individual's making a lot of money. A lot of jealous fighters slagging someone off who did his best and had the guts to get in there.
You want to hang out. Let me start off here. I feel bad for Daniel. And I'm going to say this, yeah, to all the fighters out there. You want to be a killer, you hang out with killers.
I call them dream crushers and jealous b****s. Exactly, that's what you are. A lot of the dirty, jealous wankers. Get up, Daniel Dubois. Get up, son.
Tyson Fury didn't hold back when addressing Daniel Dubois' recent stoppage defeat against Alexander Usyk. After widespread criticism labeling Dubois a quitter, Fury jumped to his fellow Briton's defense in a passionate social media rant.
Young Daniel did his best against one of the greatest champions that's ever been, and it wasn't good enough. He come up short. He got put down twice. What do you want him to do? Die in the ring? There's no first place for getting battered to losing. The lad did his best. He wasn't going to win the fight. He's better off getting out of there.
But while Fury called out those attacking Dubois for being jealous and lacking understanding of boxing's brutality, the larger fight community seems sharply divided. Some see Dubois' fifth-round knockout as another instance of him mentally folding under pressure, while others argue he did all he could against one of the most skilled heavyweights in history.
He didn't want to touch gloves, did he? I think there was a little bit of needle there from Usyk. I think he was a little bit... Remember when he beat Tyson Fury for the second time and Dubois jumped in the ring and started giving him some jive talks, talking bollocks to him about, yeah, I want you next, and I want to get this fight on. But Usyk was actually talking about his father, his late father, and I think he took it a little bit disrespectfully. I think the fact that he got interrupted by Dubois to talk a bit, the timing was all wrong, and I don't think Usyk forgot about that. So maybe that look in his eye and that look of determination, that steely look, was for his dad. Who knows? I mean, Usyk's always a solid-looking warrior and is always a man about business. He always takes care of business as well, doesn't he, like he did tonight. But that sort of, for me, set the tone for Usyk's mindset.
Dubois entered the ring for his undisputed heavyweight title rematch against Usyk, hoping to rewrite the narrative surrounding his career. Although he had recently picked up impressive wins over Anthony Joshua, Jarrell Miller, and Filip Hrgovic, proving resilience in those slugfests, the 27-year-old once again found himself unable to last against the masterful Ukrainian. Usyk, known for his speed, movement, and ring IQ, systematically broke Dubois down in just 5 rounds at Wembley Stadium, using feints, angles, and precision punches to exhaust and eventually stop the younger man.
He was a little bit nip and tuck. He made him fall short, and then he copped him, and he just never ceases to amaze me. Every time I see him, he just seems to get better.
It seems like the most realistic chance of somebody stopping him.
Well, if anyone was going to do it, I mean, I think AJ was slightly seeing better days, Tyson seen slightly better days, but Daniel's confidence was up. He was absolutely buzzing. He'd just come off that knockout win off AJ. He's a young, up and coming heavyweight. If anyone was going to beat him, it was going to be Daniel, and he couldn't. He couldn't, unfortunately. And all he can do is just take it off to Alexander.
The ending of the fight has now sparked a firestorm of debate. In the 5th round, Usyk landed a clean overhand left that sent Dubois crashing to the canvas. The British heavyweight made it up by the count of 10, standing on one knee before the referee waved it off. Don Charles, Dubois' trainer, threw in the towel at nearly the same moment, possibly confirming their mutual decision to call it a day. But what followed were accusations from all corners of the boxing world branding Dubois a quitter.
The way he dismantled Daniel Dubois on Saturday, I've never seen him actually predict a fight. He predicted 6 rounds, but he finished him in 5 rounds. But the fashion of which he did it in, I've always said that when Usyk fights you once, if you fight him a second time, he'll beat you better. He's downloaded. He's got to download him how he deals with you. And what he did to Daniel, it took away everything, all his attributes. He took away his jab, took away his power, took away his movement, took away his confidence to the point where Daniel was putting his backside on the floor, thinking, "Wow, we're only in round 5 here, and I'm getting chopped up." And this guy Usyk did a great job, and how he conducted himself in the ring afterwards showed the appreciation to the Wembley fans. This guy will go down in history as, it's not very often we're able to say that. And unfortunately, we struggle to say it about our own when it is well deserved.
Among the harshest voices was Derek Chisora, who called Dubois' effort disgraceful and claimed he mentally gave up before the first bell. Chisora, visibly upset post-fight, said that Dubois failed to use his jab, showed no urgency, and walked into the ring already beaten. He accused Dubois of letting everyone down, insisting that the entire moment had been perfectly set up for him to win, and that he simply didn't want it enough.
I feel bad for Daniel. Frank gave it to him on the plate. But you want to hang out. Let me start off here. I feel bad for Daniel. And I'm going to say this, yeah, to all the fighters out there. You want to be a killer, you hang out with killers. You train like a killer. Remember that, yeah? Boxing is a combat sport, you understand? It's not about the days of boxing like how we used to box 5 years, 10 years ago have changed. This guy is showing you the remedy. He's fit, he makes you work. It's crazy. So you do the same thing with him.
Another familiar name echoing similar thoughts was Dave Allen. On his own platform, Allen admitted the shot Usyk landed was a good one, but he questioned whether it should have ended the fight. He believed Dubois had already checked out mentally and was looking for a way out. Allen, who has been open about quitting in his own career, was perhaps better positioned than most to recognize the signs. He described Dubois as exhausted and mentally broken, not physically unable, and said it seemed clear that he was simply ready for the bout to be over.
The ending was most interesting. Now, last night, I thought the finishing shot was a real fight ender. I thought it was a fight ender. And it was a good shot, but Dubois got up at the count of 10 and he walked straight past Usyk, straight to the corner. He was completely fine. I think, and you know what, it's horrific to say, I've quit. It's not horrific to say, I'm quit. I'm chairman of the quit committee. I'm top quitter, I guess. Anyway, he quit. Yeah, he did. And I spoke to Kugan earlier. I said he quit. You know, I said he quit. I said he didn't want to be there. It's so hard. Like, you know what it is? It's like Daniel's like it's hard with Daniel. It's hard. I've never spoke to him. I've been in his company.
The criticism gained traction in part because this isn't the first time Dubois has been accused of quitting. In his 2020 fight against Joe Joyce, Dubois took a knee after absorbing punishing jabs to the eye and did not rise before the count finished. The damage was later revealed to be a fractured orbital bone, but that didn't stop critics from questioning his heart. A similar pattern emerged during his first clash with Usyk in 2023, when he stayed down in the 9th round following a stiff jab. The narrative that Dubois looks for exits in tough moments has clung to him ever since, and this most recent loss only added more fuel to that fire.
I felt for him, yeah. I think, you know what, he did quit. The top and bottom is he quit. That's the top and bottom. You have to, whichever way you look at it, he quit because he looked for a way out. He could have continued. I think if you can continue and you choose not to, it's a quit, innit? Whatever way you look at it. But for me, like, I feel for him. I think his emotions got the better of him. He just wanted out of there ASAP. He just wanted that fight over. And a lot of that comes down to us and Usyk's greatness. But these things that are coming out now, you think of, you know, poor young man, do you know what I mean? Under a lot of stress.
Tyson Fury, however, wasn't having any of it. He lashed out at the narrative suggesting Dubois quit and said the young fighter gave it everything he had. Fury emphasized that there's no glory in enduring a beating just for the sake of it when victory is out of reach. According to Fury, Dubois made the smart decision to live to fight another day and shouldn't be demonized for knowing when to stop. He went on to praise Dubois' journey in boxing, from training since he was a child to becoming a world champion and fighting in front of 100,000 fans at Wembley. In Fury's eyes, only those who've never stepped into the ring would dare criticize someone like Dubois.
You've come from a kid to a man to be the world heavyweight champion and box at Wembley and in front of 100,000 people. You can't beat that kid. And if you ever want to do any training with a straight man, come yourself to Morecambe anytime you want, kid, because there's no jealousy here and there's no people putting others down who do the best. I call them dream crushers and jealous. Exactly, that's what you are. A lot of the dirty, jealous wankers. Get up, Daniel Dubois. Get up, son.
Fury also aimed sharp words at fighters and pundits, fueling the backlash, calling them jealous and petty. He insisted Dubois should feel proud of his accomplishments, and even offered to train with him in Morecambe to get back on track. Fury's defense was more than just support. It was a declaration that boxing needs less tearing down of fighters who give everything, and more understanding of the brutal cost of failure at the top level.
There's a lot of jealousy in boxing, especially when an individual's making a lot of money. A lot of jealous fighters slagging someone off who did his best and had the guts to get in there. There is no cowards in boxing. When you're in that ring fighting world heavyweight champions, there is no cowards. So all the credit deserves to Daniel. He worked his bollocks off from being 8-year-old, won the world title, and fought Usyk for the undisputed. Video went off and fought Usyk for the undisputed, and now he's sitting at home, multi-millionaire at 27. Do what the Daniel, if you ever get to see this, chin up, son. Your dad's proud of you, everybody's proud of you.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, more drama was unfolding. It was revealed that Dubois arrived at Wembley just 90 minutes before his ring walk, causing concern about his pre-fight preparation. Reports surfaced that his father, Stan Dubois, had hosted a gathering, described by some as a party, at their Essex mansion on the day of the fight, with over 70 people in attendance. Footage even emerged showing Dubois being swarmed by guests and surrounded by loud music just hours before he was due to take on Usyk.
That would be fun.
This unusual approach to pre-fight rituals raised eyebrows, especially since it disrupted the typical routine of rest, focus, and arrival several hours early. Trainer Don Charles downplayed the incident, describing it as a gathering rather than a party, and defended the method by pointing out that the same setup helped Dubois defeat Anthony Joshua. He said the so-called chaotic corner had worked in the past, and that they tried to recreate the same atmosphere. Charles acknowledged that it might appear mad to outsiders, but from their viewpoint, it was a formula that had previously brought them success.
Let's retract. Let's replace the word party with gathering. It was a gathering. Okay?
Okay.
Right. The same gathering we used for the prep on fight day for the AJ fight. A lot was made of the ring walk when Daniel walked out in Wembley. 96,000 people. A lot was made of it.
The Anthony Joshua fight.
Correct, yeah. And the energy that it was fired up.
It was.
That gathering at the home, the same home, was taken to the dressing room. Some of the Daniel's friends and his father's friends were in the dressing room for the AJ dress for the fight.
Still, criticism of Dubois' corner during the fight didn't stop there. Some noticed Stan Dubois speaking from the ring apron during the bout, adding to the confusion in an already tense corner. Charles didn't deny this, but said that while the structure might appear disorganized, it had been effective during their past wins. That same chaos that brought them victory was being condemned now only because it didn't work this time.
To get more energy, that would be the only thing. I'm a logical man. The only logical sense that while there was more people is to increase the volume, because it's the big, you're going to the AJ fight was big. This even trumps it. I didn't think that was possible. Yeah. So if you try to understand, that's what I do, try to understand. It may appear madness to a lot of people, but it's the same method that got us the victory. Stan Dubois, with his extraordinary methods, would try and replicate it. That's my take on it.
Spencer Farron, speaking on the matter, revealed that he was already aware of a party being organized prior to the Usyk fight. However, he chose not to disclose this information at the time, explaining that he wanted to maintain focus on the bout itself and not distract from the fighter's preparation. Farron emphasized that similar party-related gatherings had also been planned ahead of Anthony Joshua's previous fights. His comments suggest a recurring pattern of pre-fight celebrations or distractions that, in his view, may not align with the discipline and seriousness required during fight camps. He expressed concern about the culture surrounding high-profile bouts, subtly questioning whether the focus is shifting away from the sport itself.
But this is nothing new, because they had a party before the Joshua fight, but it weren't really a party, it was like a gathering for the Joshua fight. It was a gathering to raise your morale. Now things are all gone potty now, because now that he at the time he was seen as the proper IBF champion because he beat Joshua. So as he beat Joshua, his stock has risen, and the same thing, you get loads of hangers on. And that's what's happened, because everybody wanted to be there. Yeah, well, with the champ and stuff like that. But yeah, I knew this happened, but I wanted to keep it solely to the fight and everything else surrounding the fight.
Furthermore, Farron went on to criticize the handling of the situation, stating that while he isn't directly blaming Daniel Dubois' father, it was clear that the entire event was poorly organized. He expressed disappointment in the overall planning and coordination, describing it as shambolic. Farron also directed criticism toward promoter Frank Warren, holding him partly accountable for the lack of structure and professionalism surrounding the lead up to the fight.
And I mean, I'm not gunning the dad like that, because I'm not going to try to kick anyone when they were down, but I just think the whole thing was just badly organized. And I understand when you have a commodity, Frank Warren has a commodity like this, who was at the time heavyweight champion, like, you can't really give the orders that you want to give, right? And somebody needed to take the bull by the horns, and nobody did. And yeah, it was the whole thing was shambolic.
With the dust beginning to settle, attention turns to what's next for both fighters. For Usyk, who once again proved his elite status, several names are now on the table. He floated the possibility of fighting Tyson Fury again, possibly for a trilogy if Fury wins their rematch. He also mentioned Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker, and Derek Chisora as potential challengers. However, there's also speculation that Usyk might retire soon, and if he chooses to vacate a belt, the WBO could elevate Parker to full champion status. This could set off a wave of matchups among the top-tier heavyweights vying for a now vacant title.
I've not watched Pandora. All I've watched is reruns or highlights of Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois, and I'm still mesmerized. You know, like in the heat of the moment, you get overly excited, and I probably did on yesterday's video. But watching it back, I'm still like, this guy is outworldly. Like, he's so special. He's most definitely a top 10 heavyweight of all time. Like, most definitely. If you don't believe that, then argue with yourselves. He is that good. He could compete in any era. He could compete with any heavyweight. Any heavyweight. That's how good he is. Very quickly, I do want to say this before we talk what next, who next for Alexander Usyk. Lawrence Okoli is getting a lot of stick, and I'm not here to defend him because I am going to critique him a little bit.
As for Dubois, the road to redemption is still wide open. His promoter Frank Warren believes the young fighter can come back stronger if he learns from his mistakes. Warren emphasized that Dubois is still only 27, has time on his side, and should focus on polishing other parts of his game. He pointed out that many great fighters have come back from tough losses and believes Dubois can do the same.
And Daniel's obviously very disappointed. He's in the dressing room at the moment, and if he's going to come back, he's got to learn from it. He's only 27 years of age. Look back at, Frank Bruno, for example. 3 times he fought for the world title, and he got it in the fourth attempt. And Daniel, he's won a world title, so hopefully he will come back and learn from it. But the bottom line is, it's Mr. Usyk's night, and he showed what he was all about. I mean, he is a special boxer.
There's even talk of a rematch with Joshua, or future bouts with Fabio Wardley, Derek Chisora, Dillian White, or even Tyson Fury himself. Despite the criticism, Daniel Dubois remains one of the most entertaining fighters in the heavyweight division. His recent wins showed power, heart, and a willingness to engage in wars. What's clear is that while this latest loss has reignited doubts about his mentality, it hasn't erased the promise he continues to show.
Every fight he's had, the last five fights he's had, he's gone in as an underdog in every one of those fights.
So what level do you bring him back at, Frank? Right at the top?
He'd fight someone in the top 10. Yeah. You want to be the best, you got to go out and do it.
Do you think you'll become world champion one day again?
Do I think he'll become world champion again? If he don't learn lessons from this particular fight, and I don't just mean the fight itself, I mean everything that surrounded it, then it may be a bit difficult, but he's capable of learning, and if they make some adjustments and changes, then I'm sure he can do.
In the end, boxing remains a sport of brutal highs and punishing lows. One night doesn't define a fighter's legacy, though it can certainly reshape the path ahead. Whether Daniel Dubois truly quit or made a rational decision for his health, the debates will rage on, but what happens next in his career will speak louder than any critic ever could. The backlash following Dubois' loss has been fierce, with fans and pundits alike quick to label him a quitter. The revelation of partying in the days leading up to the fight has only added fuel to the fire, reigniting long-standing discussions about discipline, mindset, and professionalism at the elite level of the sport. In a world where preparation is everything, even off-ring behavior is scrutinized with unforgiving eyes. Is this a temporary stumble or a defining moment? Only time will tell. For more breakdowns, fighter insights, and no-holds-barred discussions, make sure to subscribe to Ring Rivalry on YouTube. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update from the front lines of the boxing world.